Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my first impressions of Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan. This is by Gaku Kuze. It is a Kodansha release? Yes, Kodansha. And this is technically a 2-in-1. It is a bit thin if you're expecting a 2-in-1 and then you get this. It is a bit thin, but it's clearly, the volumes are clearly thinner than a standard like 180 page volume. So there is 2 volumes technically in here. They're just 2 thinner volumes making up this relatively decent sized one. This is a series that as soon as I read the premise of it when this first volume came out, I was very, very, very intrigued by it and wanted it very badly. It went out of stock and was out of stock forever. So I finally got my hands on it. I do have volume 2, and I think I ordered volume 3, but it's not here yet. But I've read this first installment, so I guess technically the first 2 volumes, and I love this. I was expecting to love it, but I did have my, trepidations just because this is a premise that could get very easily super repetitive and boring after a while, so I'm going to be quite careful with how I read this. I did read this entire first one in one sitting, but going forward, I'm going to be a little bit more sparing with, how I read it, just so that I don't burn out from it. But basically, the premise is Uramichi is the man on the cover. He's 31 years old, and he is the host of a children's show. He is disillusioned, I guess you could say, with adulthood. He's pretty bitter seeming, and is a little bit empty inside. So he is the host of this kid's show, and oftentimes a lot of his punchlines throughout his hosting refer back to the fact that adulthood is like a death sentence. It's just mundane, horribleness that you should avoid at all costs. And so, it leads to some pretty funny facial expressions, punchlines, and looks from the children. Just being quite shocked and confused by what he is saying. I really, really like the artwork. I think it's quite good. I think the facial expressions really, really portray or convey exactly what this mangaka is going for. And I find it hilarious. And I read this, I was in a really bitter mood. And I, got home from work and I was feeling quite upset about something at work. And I went, today's the day to read this. And I was right, because all of this, the bitterness, but like sprinkled, sugar-coated with the comedy of this series and the fluffiness of the adults that are in costume and all of these things just really brought my spirits back up. I like dark comedies, and I like sarcasm and like just bluntness and all of that kind of humor. So this is definitely right up my alley. I can appreciate that this is not for everybody, and I can, understand that there are a lot of people who won't like this, particularly because it also is a pretty short form sort of format where each chapter is only a few pages long, because you get to the punchline pretty quickly and then it's gone to the next scenario. But I really, really enjoyed this. I was expecting to, and I'm glad it met my expectations. I'm excited to read more. I believe this is still ongoing in Japan, because I think there are 6 volumes out currently, but it seems like volume 7 is out soon. If I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, it's not finished. I'm not sure how long it's going to be by the time it is finished, but for now, I will enjoy what I have of it, and at this point continue to collect it as we get volumes of it here. So yeah, I think this is a fun one if you have a similar kind of taste in humor to myself. Um, and if anything that I have said is intriguing to you, um, yeah, by all means, give this one a shot because it is quite funny and entertaining. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions or anything based on my love of this, if you know of anything similar that you think I should try out, please let me know. If you've read this and you have comments or anything about it, by all means, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Yeah, thanks for watching.